Greetings, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace and blessings be upon those who follow guidance. Yes, today's topic is human fingerprints that disprove atheists. Now, it is frequent question asked by atheists, is God going to bring us back to life after He has caused us to die? So Allah responds with striking miracle in the Quran mentioned 1426 years ago, when modern science only discovered these facts in the late 1880s and onwards. Assuming that population of the earth is 5.6 billion and each person has 10 fingers, if only about 70 million have ever been fingerprinted, is that mathematically speaking really a large enough sampling to make that statement, no two fingerprints are the same? With absolution, FBI records have proven out of all the millions of fingerprints taken, not one is the same. That also disproves evolution further, since things are just based on chance, yet two fingerprints by chance have not come together, which is outstanding. Now think about this for a moment, folks. Evolutionists claim we are not a unique creation at all. Yes, we have different features at times, but in essence we come from a single cell. So no, it is false that God created Adam and Eve and that we all share a unique creation, right? No, evolution tells us that, hey, we come from animals, we come from bacteria, we all have one common origin, in the sense that we are just a process of evolution and an ongoing changing creature. Okay? So this is probably the biggest backfall, since God has clearly stated in the Quran that yes, He has created the male and the female, and He has proven this, that we are unique, because He has mentioned in Surah 75 verse 3 and Surah 75 verse 4. What do we read? Let's read. And we will start from the first verse of Surah 75. I swear by the day of resurrection, and I swear by the self-reproaching person, a believer. Verse 3. Does man, a disbeliever, think that we shall not assemble his bones after his death? Verse 4. Yes, we are able to put together in perfect order the very tips of his fingers. Now the question is, why is Allah revealing this verse, and who is it challenging? Well, if you go to the tafsir, it speaks about a desert Bedouin who came to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And when he heard that the Prophet Muhammad was preaching resurrection after death, a desert Bedouin threw a bone at the Prophet's feet and said, and it was a crushed bone, and he said, how will Allah bring this bone back to life after it's been crushed and withered and gone? It's dead. It's game over. So the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam received revelation, and it states, we are able to put together in perfect order the very tips of his fingers. And we know that even atheists, I think they invented crematoriums where they actually don't bury themselves. They, after they die, they might choose to, put their bodies or their corpse through hot fire so it can disintegrate and turn into dust, and then they start spreading it in the earth. And I believe, this is my theory, that one of the reasons why they did this was, they probably heard about Judgment Day, and they thought that maybe if they did this, they would get away, since the body parts will not be able to assemble together. So again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala challenges this and says, we will bring you back, even though you grab your dust, you grab your corpse and you spread it on the four corners of the earth, we will bring you back together as you are. Even the very tips of your fingers. And of course, on the tips of your fingers, every single person has their own unique fingerprint. So you have been coded. You have been barcoded. Yes, the one that has created you has given you an identification. So you are being watched. You are on the list. Yes, you are on his list. You're on his production list. You've been created. You have been barcoded. You have been recognized. And now you are being watched like Big Brother. You see? So there's no getting away. There's no thinking that, hey, I'm going to get away, and thinking that, hey, there's no creator above you. You have a Lord, and he is watching over you, and there is no escape. You're part of the system. You are created to be part of the system, and you have your own identification barcodes, which you can't deny. So there you go, folks. That in itself clearly proves that, hey, every single thing around us has a purpose. We have a creator. The creator is above us. He's watching. He's observing what we are doing, because we are coded, barcoded. And this is mentioned in the Quran 1426 years ago. So again, if the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was a desert Bedouin, how did he know this? How did he know that we have our own unique fingerprint? Did he have a computer? Did he have any sort of equipment? And by the way, folks, this was discovered in the 18th year, the 18th century. And of course, thanks to science and modern equipment, we could observe that every single person has their own unique fingerprint by scanning it through computers. And there are some claims that in the 14th century that government officials had fingerprints, but this was just an impression that they had, but they didn't have the capabilities to observe whether people actually dealt with fingerprints prior to 1880, but we know for sure they did after 1880, since this was discovered and proven as fact. So again, how did the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ know this nearly 1400 and odd years ago? A second point comes from ancient Babylon, that fingerprints were used on clay tablets, but again, prior to 1880 and after the Prophet ﷺ mentioned, again, this is just assumption, and we don't know for sure if they did use their fingerprints as for business transactions, since fingerprints could be marked and discovered on all sorts of areas. Of course, this is mentioned by the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Of course, he speaks not from himself, but speaks from revelation, and that revelation was given to him by Archangel Gabriel, and of course that revelation comes from Allah Almighty. So again, how did the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ be able to have this sort of information when he wasn't a scientist? He didn't know the fingerprints, he didn't have any information that we carried our own unique fingerprint, which is clear proof that Islam is true, So I ask my atheist friends and my Christian friends as well to accept Islam as your final salvation, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide the disbelievers to the truth. Thank you for listening. Goodbye and good day.